तू चलता चल, तू चलता चल, तू चलता चल।
Today, as planned, I will talk to you about the state of India's economy and explain to you over a period of 9 years how India's economy has been ruined by design as also by incompetence by the present government. Fine. And the references would be quite shown to you in the end. You can go and check up, and I will also give you some tasks which you should research on your own to get inputs as to how a mess is being made out of India's economy, and so many people around you, as also elders and maybe even your parents, are getting misguided by the trash dished out by the Godi media. So you see, if we have a realistic and meaningful data collated, it will tell us a good story. When we observe this data, we get a realistic picture as to what is going on. In this presentation, I will show as to how the economy has been ruined and also explain as to how the situation is so bad that it will take considerable time to retrieve the situation, even in case Modi is removed, which as of now appears difficult. See, India's GDP in 2023 is expected to be 3.75 trillion, and our population is approximately 140 crores. If you compare this with the GDP of actual Vishguru, that is US, it has the GDP would be $26 trillion, and they have a population of 30 crore people. Fine. The average GDP in the 10 years of Modi misrule will come to 5.8%. The average GDP of UPA 1 was 8.5% and UPA 2 was 7.5%. So what are the simple inference? India is an incompetent and inefficient society when compared with US. Sonia and Manmohan's misrule was bad for 10 years, but Modi's misrule of 10 years from 2014 is atrocious. Fine. Data, simple data, genuine data. Please tell it to your bhakts around you and your parents. ये है situation. ठीक है? चलिए next. And keep making a note of your questions. I'll answer all of them. Public debt. Debt of India has increased from rupees 43 crores to approximately above 43,000 crores to above 1 lakh crore since 2014. Till March 31, the total public debt was about 56 lakh crore. It has now grown to 155 lakh crores approximately. India's debt to GDP is 83%, far above other emerging markets and developing economies that have an average debt of 64.5%. In the current financial year, the center is set to spend 20% of its expenditure on paying interest on debt. In 2014-15, when Modi just started, the center paid rupees 4 lakh crore as interest on debt. The budgetary estimates for 22-23 show the center will have to spend 9.4 lakh crores on interest payments. This will be 23.8% of the government's total expenditure and 42.47% of the revenue receipts. Inference, concrete evidence of mismanagement. ये करके जो है बेवकूफी का मैनेजमेंट किया है, तो आपके लिए अग्निपथ जैसी बड़ी बेकार स्कीम लाई गई है बचाने के लिए पैसा। समझ रहे हैं बातें? चलिए आगे। ट्रेड डेफिसिट। Trade deficit hit a record high in October 23. The merchandise exports grew by 6.29%, while the merchandise imports grew by 14%. Exports. So in October 21, India's exports were 35.7 billion. In October 23, the exports are 6% lower. Even though the import growth has been negative, yet in absolute terms, they have continued to grow from October 21 to 22. You can see the figures and $65 billion now. While both exports and import growth rates have either been negative or muted, October saw massive divergence between the two trend lines. As a result, India's trade deficit at a monthly level has grown to 31.5 billion in October, a record high. When India imports more than it exports, the domestic currency strength relative to other currencies such as the US dollar takes a hit. A relatively weaker rupee further worsens the trade deficit because more rupees are required to buy the same set of imports in the future. Value of rupee. The value of $1 today is approximately rupees 83. The value of $1 before Modi misrule started was rupees 60. Straight inference, Sonia Manmohan misrule was bad, but Modi misrule is at another level altogether. Fine, so nobody wish Guru, Shish Guru, Bakwas. An important RBI report of 2022. This report admitted the output losses for individual years as 19.1 lakh crore, 17.1 lakh crore, and 16.4 lakh crores for 2021, 21, 22, and 22, 23 respectively. As per RBI, India is likely to take another 13 years or up to 23, 34, 35 to overcome the losses incurred as per RBI due to the COVID pandemic that hit the country in March 20. My personal view is that mismanagement was the bigger cause than the pandemic. RBI found it convenient to put the combined losses caused by demonetization, ill-planned GST, and the 4-hour notice to put lockdown on the pandemic. Fine. Important thing, इसको जब प्रेजेंटेशन होगा ये निकाल के अपने दोस्तों के साथ शेयर करना कि कितने बड़ा विश्व गुरु बन रहे हैं हम. Wealth distribution. The top 1% in India now owns more than 40.5% of the total wealth in 2021. The things would have increased further. While the bottom 50% of the population, approximately 70 crore, has around 3% of the total wealth. Since the pandemic began in November 22, billionaires in India have seen their wealth surge by 121%. Or 3,600 crores per day in real terms. 2.5 crores every minute. इतना तेजी से वेल्थ बढ़ रही है इनकी. मोदी साहब के दोस्त अदानी was already a successful entrepreneur before Modi became PM in 2014. Thereafter, wealth in past 8 years has grown by 20 times from $7.3 billion in 2014 to about $140 billion now. बहुत किस्मत चमक गई है. हाँ, हमारा काटा जा रहा है. Policing of the 50% of the population. ये बोलते हैं ना कि टैक्स रईस लोग दे रहे, रईस लोग नहीं दे रहे. आ रही बात समझ में? 3% of GST comes from the richest top 10%. Approximately 30 lakh crores have been fleeced from the masses through tax on oil and gas in 9 years. Interestingly, a large number of fools from this category chant आएगा तो मोदी ही. I find this irony most humorous. मोदी आएगा बढ़िया. Oil and gas prices, as those who understand some economics know, that has a considerable cascading effect on other goods and services. उसकी वजह से बाकी सब चीजें भी महंगी होती जाती है. ठीक. इन्फ्लेशन ये पुराना है, दिसंबर 22 का बता रहा हूं आपको. तो कंज्यूमर प्राइस इंडेक्स स्टूड एट 112 में थी 2013-14 में, फिर 174 तक बढ़ गई 22 तक. फूड इन्फ्लेशन 10% पहुंच गया था. अभी करंट की बात यह है, inadequate rains in the monsoon will keep kharif and rabi production low, and so the food prices are likely to remain high. Unemployment data shows that in every year of the last 10 years except one, the unemployment rate has been above 7%. ये आपके लिए relevant है. The unemployment rate among graduates is 42%. According to the State of Working in India 23 report, unemployment rate among youth 15 to 24, जिसमें आप कैटेगरी में आते हैं, stood at 23.22% in 22. I'm confident, I think that figure would have gone worse now. Most employment today is self-employment, 57%. The proportion of regular wage employees has fallen from 24% to 21%. अब ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, इसलिए मैंने इसको बोल्ड में किया है. CMIE data shows that the number of government jobs declined by 22% under Modi सरकार 2015 से 2030. Please tell this to your parents who are in deep love with सरकारी नौकरी. उनको दिखाना है ये निकाल के स्लाइड. ये MSMEs की कंडीशन. Largest employer outside agriculture. They employ over 11.1 crore people, or 45% of all workers, and have low capital and technology requirements. They are the key to Make in India mission. Approximately 6,000 MSMEs closed down as a consequence of demonetization, GST, and unplanned lockdown, जिसकी RBI ने बताया ना इतने का नुकसान हो रहा है, लाखों करोड़ों का. इन वजह से है ये कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन उसमें, समझे. Falling incomes and loans for consumption. Please keep making a note wherever you have queries, because you may not grasp certain things well enough. So I'll explain. ये थोड़ा जो इकोनॉमिक्स की अंडरस्टैंडिंग नहीं, उनको थोड़ा दिक्कत होगी समझने में. Bank credit growth remains strong actually at 15%, with retail credit growth at over 18%. These figures appear impressive कि बढ़िया काम चल रहा है, until world drills into the data and discovers that credit growth is driven by growth in personal loans 23%, gold loans 22%. Credit growth to industry in August 23 was just 6.1%. Average, very disheartening thing is this: average monthly income has fallen by 9.2%. Fallen, not risen, over the last 4 quarters, from rupees 12,700 to rupees 11,600. And the average daily wage for a rural casual labor has fallen from 409 to 388. It is a fair inference that the growth in personal loans and gold loans was for consumption and not to increase any business activity. Very important things to understand. The number of hungry Indians has increased from 19 crore to 35 crore. ये है विश्व गुरु का हाल. India ranked 111th out of 125 countries in the Global Hunger Index 2023. India has a score of 28.7, indicating a serious level of hunger. India is behind Pakistan 102, Bangladesh 81, Nepal 69, and Sri Lanka 60. However, India fared better than Africa south of the Sahara. उनसे better है हम. This recorded a score of 27 each. Fine. While the rate of undernourishment in India stood at 16.6% and under 5 mortality at 3.1%. The prevalence of anemia in women aged between 15 and 24 years stood at 58.1%. As per the index, India also has the highest child wasting rate in the world at 18.7%, reflecting acute undernutrition. We have a minister called Smriti Irani. Real portfolio in my view is troll Rahul, who spoke some nonsensical stuff on this report. I am ignoring it because it's so stupid that there is no point talking about it. One very important tweet by Jairam Ramesh of Congress. This is factual. Here are the real achievements of Modi government since 2014. Growth rate for real wages. Agricultural labor 0.8%. Non-agricultural labor 0.2%. Construction worker minus 0.02%. Very important to note. Price increase for basic commodities since 2014. LPG 169%, petrol 57%, diesel 78%, mustard oil 58%, आटा 56%, milk 51%. ये हो रखा हाल इकोनॉमी का, समझे? चलिए आगे. Farmer state, very difficult to get data on suicides. I found from somewhere, where I will give you the reference, that over 10,000 persons in the farm sector committed suicide in 2020. Very difficult to get this data because Modi hides it and so does Godi media. Modi Godi एक ही थाली में बैठे हुए. Mismanagement and corruption also very important. Banks have written off over 15 lakh crores since 2012-13. Total loan write-offs by the banks in last 5 years. 10.5 lakh crores पिछले 5 साल में ही. पिछले फाइनेंशियल ईयर में over 2 lakh crores. Now, important thing to note, when no serious action is taken to return off the amounts or act against the defaulters as the fact, it gives rise to suspicion. ये लिख रहा हूं मैं suspicion. I am convinced that the agency, that is government, that is Bharatiya Sarkar, Modi Sahab, which has written off the loans, benefited from the inaction. Electoral bond scheme is an opaque policy to legalize corruption. It has contributed in making BJP the richest political party in the world with over rupees 5,000 crores of assets. Cheers. Second slide of mismanagement and corruption. Funds held by Indian Swiss banks rose to rupees 20,700 crores in 2020. आफ्टर ब्लैक मनी इरेडिकेशन की 2016 से काम चल रहा है मोदी साहब का, अकेले लड़ रहे हैं. द हाईएस्ट अमाउंट इन 13 years. Cheers. Does someone remember Modi talking about removing corruption and black money? I find it humorous that crores of Indians believe that Modi is fighting against corruption. चेक करना अपने आसपास में कितने विश्वास रखते हैं, लड़ रहा है अकेला. No documentary evidence can be obtained for the amount spent by Modi to buy MLAs to topple the numerous state governments since 2014. It is of course certain that the amount was as black as can be. I am sure that Sharma, Chief Minister of Assam, or Sindhya of Madhya Pradesh did not show any such receipt in their IT returns. The PM Cares Fund is another dubious opaque fund created by Modi Sahab. In the general elections of 2019, approximately rupees 60,000 crore was spent, making it the most expensive election in the world. And the BJP, their lovable BJP, spent 45% of the total amount. Cheers. Lavish lifestyle, publicity and propaganda in sea of poverty and hunger. है ना? देखो, lavish भी चल रहा काम. The UPA government spent an average of rupees 504 crore on advertising every year in its 10-year tenure. By contrast, in the last 4.5 years, Modi Sahab spent an average of, देख लो, 1,202 crore each year. Modi's foreign visits have costed the exchequer almost 1,500 crores. इन कंट्रास्ट 10 साल में मनमोहन सिंह जी ने 642 करोड़ ही खर्चा किया था. मोदी साहब ने जहाज खरीदा अपने लिए 8,500 करोड़ का, बहुत बढ़िया। अब ये देखिए इंटरेस्टिंग, मोदी सिक्योरिटी इज कॉस्टिंग टैक्स पेयर 1.62 करोड़ रुपीज एवरी डे। कंपैरिजन देखिए आप, कॉस्ट ऑफ वाटर सब्सिडी एंड डीटीसी फ्री राइड्स इन दिल्ली इज 576 करोड़ ईयरली। इसके मुकाबले में देखिए एसपीजी प्रोटेक्शन टू पीएम 584 करोड़ और 1 ईयर। मतलब मोदी साहब अकेला सब पे, पूरी दिल्ली पे भारी। सेंट्रल विस्टा की कॉस्ट 20,000 करोड़। G20 समिट में जहां कौन कौन से सोने वोने के चम्मच और क्या क्या यूज की गई है, ऑल दैट 4,000 करोड़ उसमें लगा दिया। बट हियर आई हैव टू एक्सेप्ट द लॉजिक ऑफ मोदी बाग, शेर पालोगे तो खर्चा तो होगा ही। तो शेर पाल रखा है हमने। एजुकेशन का देखिए अब हाल आपका। The budgetary allocation for education as a percentage of total expenditure has dropped over the past 7 years from 10.4 to 9.5%, according to Economic Survey 22. Between 2013-14 and 21-22, the total number of schools declined from 15.2 lakh to 14.9 lakh. बढ़ने के बजाय घट गए। With primary and upper primary schools seeing a reduction of 1 lakh schools to 11.9 lakh ही रह गए। एक रिपोर्ट है by Red Seer Strategy Consultants Bengaluru estimate that the number of Indian students deciding to study abroad will touch 1.8 million by 2024. Data shared by the government in parliament recently showed a 68% increase in Indian students going abroad for higher education over the past year. 7,500 गए in 22 as against 4,44,000 previous year. तो 7,50,000 पहुंच गए। और ब्यूटी देखिए, असलियत क्या है। चिल्ड्रन ऑफ बीजेपी लीडर स्टडी अब्रॉड, द चिल्ड्रन ऑफ फूल्स। तो बीजेपी के नेताओं के बच्चे पढ़ते हैं बाहर, और जो फुद्दू बेवकूफ हैं जो कि रामनवमी पे तलवार लेके मुसलमानों को अटैक करते हैं, एंड हिंदू की लड़ाई जो है कि हिंदी मातृभाषा होनी चाहिए और अंग्रेजी के खिलाफ जो सब कुछ करते हैं, ये सब है इन वाले दूसरे कैटेगरी वाले जो बेचारे कहीं बार बार नहीं जाते। मत कट रहा बेवकूफ। ठीक, आई होप यू ऑल्सो फाइंड इट ह्यूमरस लाइक आई फाइंड इट। एफडीआई का हाल देखिए विश्वगुरु साहब। 2021 एफडीआई जो था, हाई हुआ था 84.8 बिलियन डॉलर। सब्सिक्वेंट टू ईयर ओवरऑल फ्लोज इक्विटी ये वो सब कुछ फेल हो गया 16%, आके 71 बिलियन डॉलर्स पे आ गया। डिसएग्रीगेटेड डेटा शोज दैट व्हाइल इक्विटी फ्लोज जो थे फेल फ्रॉम 58.7 बिलियन टू 46 बिलियन डॉलर्स, री इन्वेस्टेड अर्निंग वाली जो थी वो बढ़ती नहीं। recently released that even though there uptick in September this year around 24% from 26.9 billion over the same period last year। समझे? आगे, हाँ जी, अब अदानी साहब मोदी जी के मित्र। 2018 गवर्नमेंट अप्रूव्ड प्राइवेटाइजेशन ऑफ 6 एयरपोर्ट्स। इसमें हमारे चीफ साहब, पुराने चीफ साहब वीके सिंह साहब भी इन्वॉल्व है इन काम कराने में। आयरॉनिकली अदानी ग्रुप वी डिडंट हैव एनी हिस्ट्री ऑफ रनिंग एयरपोर्ट्स, स्कूप्ड अप ऑल 6, उनको ही मिल गया सारे ही। On 6 December 21, Minister of State VK Singh Saab informed Parliament that Airport Authority of India has leased out 8 airports to private companies, 7 of which were managed by Adani. There was one clear winner, Adani. Apart from that, in the last 8 years, Adani Group has become the country's largest private port operator, coal importer, coal miner, and private power producer, and also the largest importer of edible oils, outclassing all its rivals in their respective fields. Competition is a sign of a healthy economy. It can yield lower prices, better quality, more choices, innovation, greater efficiency, and increased productivity. Currently, the Indian economy is losing its competitiveness. Wealth is neither being created nor destroyed, it is just being transferred. So we are witnessing the biggest wealth transfer in post-independence India's history. The Adani Group today controls 13 ports and terminals that represent 30% of total container volume. It is no surprise that this growth trajectory has accelerated since 2014. Now I am giving you some tasks. Please do some research as to how Modi ruined the telecom sector to benefit Reliance Jio, another friend of Mani Saab. How India imports coal despite having plenty of coal reserves. The foreign exchange स्पेंड कर रहे हो, रुपये की वैल्यू कम हो रही है, ये सब करने की वजह से अदानी साहब का बेनिफिट हो रहा है, कोयला आ रहा है बाहर से, हिंदुस्तान में खुद कोयला बहुत है. प्लीज डू दिस रिसर्च. Why India imports approximately 1.5 lakh crore worth of edible oil? ये टास्क आपके लिए 3. Please do this research. In brief, I explained to you what economy, political economics rather, not economy बोलेंगे, कैसे काम कर रहा है. Benefit the richest. Use portion of the money given to the richest to control institutions and win elections. Give free rations to the poor masses to just let them survive. And vote for my बाप सरकार. धन्यवाद मोदी जी, सब कुछ मोदी जी. Not that कि इन फेयरनेस उनको मिल रहा, नहीं, माई बाप दे रहे हैं उनको खुश होकर. राजा जनता को, प्रजा को दे रहे हैं मुगल साहब. नो वर्थवाइल इंप्रूवमेंट इन एजुकेशन एंड हेल्थ केयर. आपको दिखा दी पूरी रिपोर्ट, हेल्थ, हंगर पंगर का मामला क्या है, एजुकेशन का हाल दिखा दिया क्या है, और कैसे जो दोज हु कैन अफोर्ड बाहर जा रहे हैं फटाफट. So when you have these two basic pillars as absolutely body weak, then economy will remain bad in future as well. आसानी से नहीं सुधर पाएगी. And I foresee India's future as demography जो आप young लोग हैं, it will be used to provide cheap labor to the world. The way you, of course, Adani and Ambani also, the way UP and Bihar provide cheap labor to South and West India. Fine. With this, I have come to the end of the presentation. Primarily, it was data-based. Now, I am open to questions. References ये आप note कर लीजिए. You can just, those who want, it will be posted, it will be shared with you. You can note all these references, go and read all of this stuff. References भी 2 उसमें हैं. Fine. इतने सारे चीजें रेफर किया है मैंने. Okay then, take care all of you. Thank you. Bye bye.